When I was 16, I got my first part-time job shelving books at the Old Town Library on Willow Street. Everyone in our town said the building was haunted. It used to be a mansion in the 1800s, and legend said the original owner's daughter, Margaret, had died there during a smallpox outbreak. On my first evening shift, I was alone in the history section, filing a stack of dusty encyclopedias. The library closed at 8 p.m., and by 7:30 it was always nearly empty. That night I noticed something strange. A book on the far table kept falling open even though no one was around. I walked over to close it. The title was Poems for the Lost, and a faded inscription inside read, "To my dearest Margaret, so you'll never feel alone." I shivered a little, thinking maybe it was just a draft. But when I looked up, I saw her, a girl in an old-fashioned dress standing by the tall window. Her hair was pulled back with a blue ribbon. She didn't look angry or frightening. Just that I froze. We stared at each other, and then she did something I'll never forget. She pointed at the book. Her hand was nearly transparent, trembling in the air. Then, almost as if she was gathering all her strength, she whispered, "Will you read to me?" My voice shook, but I nodded. I sat down at the table, opened the book to the page she'd left it on, and began to read aloud. The poem was about coming home after a long journey, about finally finding peace. As I read, I felt the air grow warmer, the silence less heavy. When I finished, I looked up again. She was gone, but in her place on the table lay the blue ribbon from her hair. I picked it up and kept it in my pocket. The librarian later told me Margaret loved poetry more than anything, and that sometimes she appeared when someone was reading alone. After that night, I never felt afraid in the library again. I kept reading to her whenever I worked late. Sometimes I'd even catch a glimpse of her sitting in the far chair, listening quietly, finally feeling like she wasn't alone. And the message, not every ghost is a curse. Some are just waiting for a kind voice to remind them they still matter.